As for Frost, he's got his heavy cavalry airborne. Wow, that's different. And the tactical support. How do you feel about airborne?
Airborne is what I've been using as 1v1 USF at the moment. I really like Airborne, if I'm honest. I just... The reason why is because if I'm playing against Austere, I'm the type of person that tends to reach for a lieutenant over a captain, and I really just love... I just really love that Airborne you're able to at least call down those AT guns, or you know, if vice versa I do end up going for the Stuart, I at least have access to the MG on call. And you know, the Pathfinders being able to reinforce like the paratroopers when they're upgraded with LMGs is really nice if you can get the observation post up around the map. I just think it's a nice commander. The late game potential, you know, you have to be quite comfortable with USF non-doctrinal.
Double Pioneer start for Zarok. So, is he going to go for it's another MG? So he's only skipping his tier 1 for now. Maybe rush out a very quick 222 or a very quick squad of P-Grins. So that's pretty interesting. Doesn't have any barracks on the way. Two Pioneers it's hard to make work just because they don't trade at all against Riflemen. But with the MG in the house, it's going to give a lot of safety to Zarok's capping. He should be able to secure the middle VP, his cutoff, and this third strat point that he already has in the middle. As well as he has a couple of safe points. So I think the double Pio build is going to work just because of this MG in the house.
It's interesting. I don't think I've seen this pulled off for a while. I mean, it's typical of Zarok, though, isn't it? Really, he's a Maxim spammer, and now he's an MG42 spammer. It just loves machine guns. It doesn't matter what faction you're playing, you'll always expect to encounter, you know, machine guns from Zarok. I think that's if you're that predictable, you know, you can be countered quite well. I think it's a good choice for Frost here going this USF mortar. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another one. To be honest, it would be validated in my opinion. But
Three
yeah, I mean,
Pioneers.
nice.
That is so weird.
3.
Why is he going 3 Pioneers? I don't understand this. I thought it was.
I'm guessing it's partly sight for the MGs, and also just because he's expecting to get the suppression and just being able to close the gap. You know, he can get some good
maybe it's Flamer
map
spam.
Control out of this.
Flamer spam is probably what it's going to be. I would say, if that's a thing.
This is what's nice, though, is that we don't know. Do you know what I mean? This is unusual for us. We're not casting something that's particularly comfortable, and I love that. I love it when we get these little surprises coming in. So let's see what happens.
At least he has plenty of squads to build his tier 2. It's a bad feeling, isn't it, when you have to retreat your Pios to build a barracks. But at least he's always going to have plenty of squads for that.
Yeah, he's not going to have that problem today.
Or S-mine spamming, something like that he could do pretty effectively. So Frost hasn't gone for a third squad of Riflemen. He has enough feel for a tech as well. That's kind of strange why he's delaying this. He's floating up a lot of resources. And he's going for his captain now.
That is odd. I wonder if it's...
Oh, no, LT.
I can't imagine this being doctrine related. So he is going to go for the Lieutenant. I mean, I think that's a sensible idea. I think Lieutenant against Oster has always been quite good. Probably even better at this stage, but I don't know, it's a difficult one. Maybe that's part of the reason why, as you say, to rush that tier 2. I wonder, Battle Phase 1 is going up right now. He's then building another MG. That's in the lineup. Another MG. And surprisingly, actually, his map control is very, very good here. He's got all the cutoffs. He's denying fuel to his opponent whilst taking fuel for himself. Just kind of leaving Frost, but I'm totally bewildered as to why Frost isn't spending his manpower right now. 500 manpower stocked up. Could really be doing with some kind, you know, maybe an extra mortar would be really, really useful here.
That's a really crucial retreat. Zarok lost his MG in the middle. He has to retreat it. So now this house in the middle isn't going to be held. If that MG could actually have self-retreated into that house, then the cutoff wouldn't have been stolen. So now the fuel point has been decaptured, as well as that middle strat point as well. And putting some wire down, that's actually really clever, because the MGs can't vault the fence. They can slip through the hole in the wall below it, but that's going to limit mobility a little bit.
Yeah, that is a really, really nice move to kind of halt the mobility of that unit. Nice to see, by the way, Frost is actually starting to get a little bit of territory back now. It was looking really, really brutal and positive for Zarok at the start, but now he's got 3 MGs No indirect fire of his own, and he is going to have to put up with the USF mortar, which he has no real way, I would say, of attacking right now. That first scout car is in the build. The question is Frost going to have something to combat it?
Frost had 700 manpower floated up. That's crazy. Going for a 50 cal and an ambo. Still has a bit of a float, 250 manpower after building 2 units. So maybe he should have gone for a second mortar, as you said. Against this many MGs, the mortar is going to be the best choice. Especially since when he's LT, he doesn't have access to the pack howitzer, which he even then would probably rather just go for the mortar instead. It's more effective at flushing out those MGs.
I get the feeling that Zarok is basing this game on timings. I'm just looking at the time right now. Really, he hasn't allowed USF to get anything, you know, in terms of the map control. I think he knows, I think he's quite comfortable that his opponent is not going to have his light vehicles out to play with. And it's absolutely brilliant because he's going to have that first scout car out. He could probably even build another one very, very shortly as well and do some real damage with this build. So I think it's really nice. I think it's based on, obviously,
you could lose
all
the
kind
ambo
of
here.
tech timings.
No, the ambo backs away.
He's doing such a good job with this build.
Good reaction there from Frost. Preemptively retreats the ambo. And this is really dangerous because none of these riflemen, well, there's only 2 of them anyway, but neither of these squads have access to the AT grenades. So there is literally 0 anti-tank right now. There is nothing to force away this 222. And the LT could go down here. He sticks around that garrison. He drops a bar as well. And there's a squad of... No, the Pioneers are retreating, so there isn't a squad nearby. Let's see if Zarok can take that bar, or maybe if Frost can liberate it before.
Well, I've got to say, this game is going absolutely fantastically for Zarok. It's so nice to see something new that's being used as well. I've never seen really that many people confident enough to go with a build of 3 Pioneers and make it work, but he's doing such a good job of it so far. My question is, we now have the AA half-track for the USF in the build, and this is going to be a pretty serious contender to everything Zarok has on the field at this point. If one of those scout cars goes down, it really does poke a huge hole in his army.
He almost pushed the rifleman long enough for the Pioneers to steal the bar. That would have been a nice play. I feel like Frost may just lose this game because he went tier 2. Because if Zarok goes for a 3rd scout car, and even if he doesn't, with 2 222s, the 444, as we like to jest in the ESL North America, he probably could just dive this AA half-track and just kill it with 2 scout cars. And
that's what I'm worried about, but I think if one of them goes down, then he does stand a pretty good chance against this composition. It's just one of these things that hangs in the balance a little bit. Just having a look at the positioning of the scout cars. So they're not together at the moment. It's perfectly viable that the AA half-track may get something good here. Great first hits on the MG. I don't think he's going to stay in that engagement though. Veteran C1 on the MG, and we see incendiary rounds are put on there as well, dealing a lot of damage to the AA half-track. Will force it off for a bit. Good plays from Zarok, just really good plays all around.
So we have weapon racks, we have a bazooka on the echelon, 2 bazookas in fact. That's a very good choice there from Frost. It'll give him some form of mobile anti-tank. It's still a bit hard to use because the scout cars can kite pretty effectively. Riflemen are very low at the north here. 222 is going to be chasing him down with the flamer as well. This could be another wipe, which Frost can ill afford right now. No, 222 backs away. 50 cal in the house, something to be fearful, but pops the AP ammo, so very good decision there by Zarok. If he went for the chase when the AP ammo was live, that 222 probably would have got wiped. Still has to be careful, pretty decent penetration even without the AP ammo on the 50 cal. AA half-track is here as well, 50 cal opening up. They all survived this one. Damaged, but not discouraged.
I think this is good. Like, I really, really like this decision to go Lieutenant. It's kind of allowed him to get something to at least kind of claw back into the game early. He would have been in a very, very different position right now if he had gone for the Captain. He's just got the Lieutenant back as well, so clearly utilizing the fact that that comes with a free bar, going to help him get around these MGs and deal with those. Nice repairs on the AA half-track. I think if he keeps pushing back with this, it's going to be very, very difficult for Zarok. And I think Zarok expecting that, now going for the AT gun. Can't rely on his double scout car build alone.
I personally think
Frost
Captain
does have to be
would have been
careful
better
here though, because what about telemines? You know, loads of opportunities for Talonmines to have gone down right now.
Especially when there's no Grenadiers. When you only have Pioneers, there's going to be typically a float of munitions. There's 100, and that's because there's been the medics, the flamer, and the sweeper. So he's okay, but yeah, definitely could be a threat. Personally, though, I think Captain would have been better because not only does he have the Captain Bazooka, he would have had access to the M1 AT gun. He wouldn't have had to go on the weapon racks, which is then less fuel.
This is where I would argue with you, though, because I agree that the Captain would have been better, but he didn't have the map control to viably do that. There's no way that he would have been able to get, you know what I mean, that up against the scout cars as quick enough. So I think it's nice that, you know, the AA has really managed to save him the game at this point.
Yeah, you're actually chasing this one down for now, but the two bazookas there. There goes a scout car. Great bait coming out of Frost. The M15 was very low, but the echelons were there ready and waiting, and the pack gets the kill on the M15. That's the M15 down in response, so a great trade there by Zarok.
Yeah, that really was nice. I didn't think the pack was going to get that shot. I think the Pioneers actually may have provided some of the sight there, but a huge long shot, taking that down. Slither of health left. I mean, that is a very, very good situation for Zarok. I think if the A half-track had survived, he may have had to do some serious consideration on build, but I think he's back in the all clear now. Zarok still on form, and he's got a sizable advantage at the moment as well. Both people on roughly the same amount of VPs.
So Frost has gone for his tier 3. He has the Captain now. He's building an M1. So now Frost is in a good spot. He's got plenty of AT. Losing the M15 was a bit of a blow, but he has good map control. He has all the tech that he needs. He has bars on his riflemen as well. And this is a really weird playstyle because of Zarok. He doesn't have any scaling infantry. All he has is P-Grens. And I only see 2 MGs. So did one of these MGs get wiped?
I didn't see where it got wiped if it did. I imagine the mortars probably had a little bit to do with that.
Because he went 3 MGs, didn't he? So there must be one somewhere. The 50 cal is Frost, so it's not a stolen MG. Either way, the game's pretty close. It's hard to really say who's favouring it right now. The VPs are pretty much on point as well. Zarok, he's a little bit off his Panzer IV. Doesn't have the Battle Phase 2 unlocked just yet. And the mortar could get wiped by these P-Grens. Oh, they survive.
Yeah, it does manage to get out there in time. I saw an interesting minute ago. Both Zarok and Frost had 2 units. They're kind of like capping around the side of the maps right now. You could just tell that neither of those players are focusing on the outside of the maps because they just ran straight past each other, firing weapons at each other as they were running, and then straight past each other to cap some other points. I just think kind of goes to show right now like how much commitment these players are putting through the center of the map. They know that the kind of wrong move here could be absolutely disastrous. But again, you know, let's just have a look at the overall general view of the map right now. Frost has done a good job of coming back into this, securing 2 VPs. That's been taken back by Zarok, who's going for a triple cap again. I would say, you know, Frosty still has a lot of time on his hands, but we are going to come into that medium vehicle gameplay now. And,
Zarok may go for
sure
his Stug E, because he's almost at 7 command points. He doesn't really have enough fuel to justify going Panzer IV. It's going to delay his Tiger by a lot, so I think we'll actually see Stuggies into Tiger and not going for any tech.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen that Doctrine choice yet either. MG goes down in the center to the USF mortar. Surprised not to see a Doctrine being picked yet. Bet3 Scout Car, by the way, north side of the map, chasing down this rifleman. Will he get the shot?
Well, that's a Vet 3 Scout Car as well. M1 got a hit off, though. Let's see if he dives behind the house. No, he doesn't need to. He gets the wipe and a bar is dropped. Pioneers are nearby with a flamer for a steal, perhaps. He's going for it. Nothing nearby. Well, there's riflemen, but it won't beat the Pyos there.
He's a little bit dangerously close to being cut off there. He is going to go for the bar, at least to deny it to your opponent. It's a nice pickup. He should hit the retreat button now, I think, rather than risking that retreat path.
He's trying to soft retreat up.
Nice cut off, by the way, from Frosthead, straight in the center of the map. Now he's cut off all the resources on the left-hand side from his opponent, so Zarok's going to have to fight hard through the middle to get that back. At the same time, putting a lot of pressure on the right side whilst doing this. So I think Frost is going to buy himself a little bit of extra time with that decision.
S-Mines are on this north of VP, so it's great to see Zarok making use of this Pioneer build, and also all the munitions he has floated up too. So he's going to be delaying the capping from Frost. Only has one squad of Echelon, which they do have the sweeper unlocked, so they can clear that out. And with no vehicles, it means he can't crush the S-Mines. Bundle Grenade gets the wipe on that house, which is going to make it probably a bit harder for Frost to hold that fuel point if he tries to hold that one. And we have Frost, he locked in his heavy cavalry company, so he is looking for the Pershing. Let's see if he decides to tech up. I do doubt it. He doesn't have enough of a fuel point. It seems to have the territory is swung in the favor of Zarok now, who's now looking very good in the fuel department. Could actually justify going for a Panzer IV at this rate.
Seeing more of the USF mortar firing down there. Doesn't quite manage to get the kill on the MG. Panzer Grenadiers charging up to try and deal with those mortars. Even a D crew to get rid of that double veterancy would be very, very helpful right now, because 2 USF mortars is going to be a lot to deal with from him. And I think it's a very, very good decision from Frost to go as well, given the build of his opponent. But I'm wondering, yeah, I'm hoping to see Zarok pick something soon. He has got fuel to spend.
In the middle, the Pioneers will go down. Yep, they get wiped. Too late on their retreat, but still, ain't even mad, bro. There's 2 more Pyos ready and waiting for the repairs.
See how that goes. Any second now, I'm expecting him to pick one of these commanders. Any second now. Be very surprised if that doesn't happen. But I guess maybe what he's doing here is waiting to see a definite pick from his opponent first, until maybe he feels like he needs the benefit of one of these commanders. But I mean, against the USF, I think he, as you're rightly saying, wouldn't be a bad choice here.
The 222, 3 bazookas came through. He does get away there with the help of the suppression as well. So he actually went for the Stug E. A little bit late at 9 command points, but still I think it's the great choice here. Shouldn't delay his Tiger much. Could probably afford going for a second Stug E before going into Tiger, as long as he can actually hold his fuel point there. You will have access to the light arty barrage, which will be nice against the double mortars if they get caught out of position. Personally, having Lightning Wall would have been nice for the late game close air support, because you have a lot of munitions floated up with this build. But Stug E is going to be able to do a lot of manpower bleed, force away some squads, maybe force Frost to build a second AT gun as well, if there's 2 Stug Es, which there is now, and this 222.
One Stug E in the center, dangerously close. It may take a snare here from the rifleman. USF AT gun pummeling through it. We see the lieutenant forced out the building in the center. MG's going to be firing. Do the Panzer Grenadiers get the final kill in it? It looks like maybe missed the opportunity there. Good suppression from the MG. The Stug E's trying to get those finishing shots. Another rifleman escapes by the skin of his teeth. And those 2 Stug Es are going to be dealing a lot of damage against this heavy infantry build from Frost now. I'm kind of wondering are we going to see Frost wait it out for the Pershing, or do you think maybe he's going to tech by the point that A Jackson would be like phenomenal here right now?
No way at all. Look at his fuel. He's got 200 and 200 fuel. There's no fuel points connected.
No fuel points? He's going to be waiting. That's like 4 CP of just pure time for Zarok, really. I wonder what kind of damage Zarok is going to be able to do here. Maybe he could invest in another AT gun. I think that would also be sensible.
He's going to have a lot of manpower bleed, though, because of the 2 Stug Es. So, going the next M1 is probably going to delay his Pershing, but at the same time, I think he needs it. One thing that Zarok could really punish Frost with is going for a sniper, just to really put on the manpower bleed, get some nice shots off on the mortar as well. And because you have 2 MGs and 2 P-Grans, it's really hard for the rifles to charge against the sniper. The Pioneer is going to have to retreat through 2 squads, but the S-Mine's doing some good damage on the rifleman, or the LT rather. And let's see if the Pyos survive this one. Oh no, he gets it! With the bazooka, maybe? Either way, it's a dead Pyro squad. And in the middle, there's going to be Pigrans slugging out against the Echelon. Dodging the gauntlet of the mortars. Which are actually going for the MG in the back.
Dangerous. I mean, the sound of those mortars with a full retreat. Panzer Grenadiers charging up through the center. Stug E's going to come in for a little bit of a pickup as well. It's really nice, by the way, when he pushes with the Panzer Grenadiers, it really does force the AT gun to kind of move around a little bit and just allow the Stug E's pure comfortability when they are dealing with the infantry. It's a very, very stable game from Zarok. I think it's much better now that he's picked the commander. And I have a feeling he's probably going to come up to the right amount of fuel for a Tiger, around the right time it unlocks, which I think is a really, really good teching base for him right now. He's played a very good game so far.
Yeah, good judgment of his fuel costs and his timing. The Pigrins are shredding these bazooka squads. They're just not really trading well against the Pigrins, and a lot of it's just good due to good positioning by the Pigrins, but also the threat of the Stug E makes them... It's hard to commit. In this engagement here, for example, they're quite clumped up against the light cover there. The Stug E is not firing just yet, but he's pretty close. Oh, he's firing now. At the same time, the Pigrins have to be careful of the double mortars, which are especially since they have the Vet 2 for the less scatter, so they're going to be very potent. I feel like Frost's best chance of this game is if he gets some lucky wipes with these mortars. There's still good infantry preservation coming out of Frost. He has 2 riflemen and LT.
Sorry, I just have to start there. The USF AT gun is getting the most ridiculous long-range shots on the Stug E there. Like, that was not even in the same screen. These shots raining down on the Stug E. Brilliant use of the USF AT gun. Of course, Veterancy 1 does have the take aim ability, which is just so good for dealing with things like that. And it's good to see it used properly. Those AT guns are going to be absolutely, like, pivotal in how Frost, stays in this game.
So Frost
only
has
2 CPs as well now after that Pershing.
Frost has a bit of a floater manpower. Go for another mortar. That's smart. He had to build something. No, he cancelled it for a 50 cal. Yeah, okay. Either way, just build something. I think 50 cal is going to help him hold the North VP. If he gets the 50 cal on the top, then it's going to be hard for Zarok to push through. The rifles are quite low here with that scout car nearby. You could lose this one. He evacs out of the back of the house, so it should buy him a bit of time. 222 probably can't commit to this. What's nearby, though? Not much, actually. Just a captain. Oh, and the S-Mines! The S-Mines on the retreat path! So, great placement there by Zarok. That's going to be another wipe. Very, very important now, because there's 3 Pigrins. So, there's probably going to be a better infantry composition for Zarok now. Pigrins scale very well into the late game, especially compared to Grenadiers.
Very often, though. Again, these builds from Zarok are nothing usual, are they? I always think, with the three Panzer Grenadiers, it's a difficult one because obviously we have the bar upgrades. The Panzer Grenadiers are going to need to get in close, and I think, if we do see a second AT gun on the field, the Stuggies are not going to have the kind of coverability, the kind of protection that they've been giving to the Panzer Grenadiers previously. So it's going to be very difficult for them to close in against the bars.
They don't really have to close, though. They just have to get behind cover at medium range. And they don't have to win the engagement because they can just allow the Stug-Es to poke and try and get hits. So I don't think Zarok really has to be too aggressive. He just has to make sure he doesn't get wiped by the mortars and that the Stug-Es are firing. And then likewise the Tiger when that shows up. But the Pershing has arrived. So currently there's a pretty big weakness in AT right now because there's only 1 pack. But Zarok isn't far off getting his Tiger. And we have a lot of potential for Shreks, with a lot of munitions banked up as well. So maybe we'll see Shreks. Probably not. I think Pershings have too much armor on the front for the Shreks to really be that effective. And since
I don't think right now he's going to be giving up that flexible anti-infantry, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think he'll stick with what he's got. But also he's already got one of the Stuggies with Vet 1, so target weak point is an option. And I think he's got more than enough tactics available for him to use at dealing with the Pershing.
He loses the 222. Not a big deal, though, because the 222 was probably the worst use of PopCap that he had. Because once the Tiger's deployed, that's going to be 89 PopCap, or close enough to it. 88. So, he probably wants to get maybe a second squad of Pioneers. Maybe even another pack. So, losing the 222 I don't think is actually a bad thing. Because he has the Stug-Es for the poke into force away squads, so a bit of overlap there. Apart from the vision was nice, that would help. But yeah, that's about it. So the VPs are in the favor of Zarok 345.
Moment, yeah.
But the map is currently, the VPs at least are in the hands of Frost, where the fuels at least were in the hands of Zarok. Still a pretty good infantry mix here. We saw Frost, he rebuilt a squad of rangers, of riflemen, didn't go for the rangers, which maybe a good choice here. A lot of munitions that Frost can spend. Rangers, they scale well, but they're going to have a hard time at Vet 0 closing in against Pigrins, which have great medium range damage and still good at close as well with those powerful grenades. So now we have the Tiger.
Oh,
This is
I
why...
hear that rumble of the Tiger coming in. You hear that, and that's one of the things I absolutely love about this. I think you and I were talking about this off stream a while ago. It was just the sound profiles in this game. You really are able to hear these like coming up through the fog of war, and they're so distinguishable. You know, Frost is going to know right now what's coming. He's going to hear that slow, steady rumbling. And of course, Tiger versus Pershing. This is the engagement we want to see right now. Of course, we spoke about it earlier. The Stuggy does have the target weak point, so we could see a very, very nice use of Tiger and Stuggy in coordination. In fact, we're going to see the AT gun moved up with it. Interestingly, the Tiger can be used against anti-infantry quite well, so he doesn't almost even need to use the Tiger against the Pershing. He can allow the AT gun to deal with that.
AT gun's firing, doing a fair bit of damage against these Stug-Es. The Stug-Es will die very easily to these AT guns when they're vetted with that take aim. So it has to really babysit these Stug-Es now. And man, this M1 is just getting so many shots off against not only the Stug-Es, but now the Tiger as well. Almost vet 3. This is where the double Pyos come in handy and loses the pack to one of the mortars.
There we go, Pershing coming in. He's using attack move to try and get rid of the pack gun to stop it being recrewed by Zarok. Again, he does get away with it as well. Very nice. That's going to force Zarok to build another one of those. Trying to flank with the Panzer Grenadier is not a good idea against the Pershing. Now it comes down really to the Tiger to deal with that Pershing. We had a nice wipe of the captain there, and it looks like he dropped a bazooka that may come in useful to the Panzer Grenadiers. Who currently seem to be running around a little bit aimlessly right now. I just don't know if the triple Panzer Grenadier thing is working for him at this point.
Against 2 AT guns, the Panzer Grenadiers will be great. They're going to be very effective at wiping them, chasing them down, wiping the mortars as well. So, but they have to be careful of the Pershing. This thing with Pigrins is because they're such a fragile squad in terms of how much they cost. They have a better received accuracy bonus than Grenadiers, but losing the squad of Pigrins and just the models that the more manpower bleed. So they're effective, but their reliability in terms of their cost to reinforce. And the Pershing is such a powerful tank against infantry. The AoE it has is quite fantastic. Double mortars as well, both vet 3. So unit preservation is going to be very important, but also very difficult here for Zarok. And if he can get some nice flanks off on these support weapons, he'll be in a great spot. But we'll see. It has to come down to the positioning of the Pershing. What did I miss?
Yeah, I do agree there. Sorry, we just nearly saw Rifleman Squad go down whilst vaulting a fence there on the left-hand side. Very, very nearly. This is a difficult one. Actually, we saw something on the left-hand side. Actually, the Panzer Grenadiers, a situation where they're just not dealing well at the moment. You know, trying to cross negative cover to get to a Vet 3 bar rifle squad. We see here, by the way, Zarok put incendiary rounds on to try and deal with the Pershing. Not really sure what that's about, Zarok.
The MG that
maybe
could.
We think that one.
Tiger's
the
moving
MG
in
that
now.
could.
There's going to be a
Tiger
bazooka.
is rolling in. Yep.
The two M1s are set up and the bazookas from the echelon. This is a terrible engagement for the Tiger. He's bitten off way more than he can chew right now, and there it goes. Tiger's destroyed. Pershing still looking strong. All the AT guns are there. Even the Pigrins may get wiped, sticking around for far too long, and there they go. What a disastrous swing for Zarok. The Stug-Es want some action, but they may regret it. The Pershing is going to be chasing them down, and they are Stug-Es. They will not penetrate this Pershing. Oh dear. Well, the Shreks on the Pigrins.
Oh, Shreks do actually get a nice penetrating shot off there. I don't think it's going to be enough. Maybe he can consider using target weak point on one of these. He does have the ability. Is he going to think of it? He doesn't. Two Shreks go in. They don't penetrate the frontal armor. At this point, Frost, who's had an amazing comeback, closing down all the territories on Zarok at this point. Triple cap is in order. Zarok has fallen down to 150 VPs now, and it is spelling the end pretty quickly at this point. Zarok's response to this is, of course, an AT gun, but he doesn't have the anti-infantry clearing from the Tiger anymore. Doesn't really have anything to go through with those engagements, so very, very unfortunate. And of course, his current manpower is being spent on Pioneers to make sure that the Stug-Es can deal that anti-infantry. What a turnaround, though.
Yeah, there's no fuel. Oh, the Pigrins almost wiped the Pershing there with the Shreks.
They may
They're
still.
trying to
Don't
chase
call
it
out
down.
just yet.
Oh, they get suppressed by the 50 cal. Maybe the ambo, no. Okay, that was a close one. If he killed that Pershing, it would have been nice, but it wouldn't have mattered that much. Just because there's actually a fuel float here for Frost. He can rebuild that Pershing, where Zarok cannot. Zarok has 130 fuel. He is a long way off this Tiger, and I doubt we'll see him rebuild that. But yeah, he went into, it was 2 AT guns. It was 3 bazookas, I think, maybe even 4 bazookas there in the Pershing. So, that was painful to watch. But it was a great positioning by Frost. He had everything set up in position. The Pershing was kind of baiting too.
It was really beautiful. So unfortunate there for Zarok. The decision of the second AT gun was really, really good as well. When that crept in, I kind of had a feeling it was going to be very, very difficult. But he knew the Tiger was coming. I think he knew that tech was not on the cards for Zarok, and he knew it kind of makes predictable. I think that's the problem when you do rely on call-in, kind of like the call-in meta strategies, is that they are predictable. And if you're good at countering that kind of thing, you get a very, very obvious route to the counter.
Pershing going for some base dives. Has to be a little bit careful, but there's no chase potential. So even if the Pershing takes a bunch of damage, there's no threat. The only threat really is that the Tiger being rebuilt. And maybe he doesn't quite have a clue on how much fuel Zarok has. And he has 2 echelon, so he can repair this very quickly. He's Vet 2 as well, very fast fire rate on that Pershing when it vets up.
Not really sure what Zarok is hoping to achieve here. I'm guessing he doesn't want to let his dreams of playing in the Warpaint Championship die this early. He really is clinging on for life, though. Most people would have thrown in the towel at this point, but he is still going to give it a go. I don't think there's any chance at this rate of him getting a Tiger. He is going to have to rely on his own forms of non-doctrinal AT. Now we're seeing, it looks like, is this Major Recon that's coming in right now or something? No? What is that?
Yes, it's Major Recon.
It is Major Recon, yes. I thought there were 2 planes. But looks like he's just scouting out what Zarok's got, and that kind of suggests to me that he might be going in for a big game-finishing push. We're going to get into a cinematic view for this, I think.
Pack gets wiped by the double mortars, which are both of Vet 3. Still, he's going to be taking a lot of damage from the Vet 3 AT gun. Pigrins are chasing them down, but there's going to be a Pershing firing on it. Gets the M1. Gets rid of the veteran seat, nice, but at this stage it's too futile. So, 1 VP is capped. Zarok is not going to be bleeding out at the triple VP rate, but he doesn't really have much infantry to cap these VPs because there's riflemen there. There's riflemen with bars. They've got some veterancy on them. Yeah, there isn't any way out here, unless Zarok could hold a fuel and get a Tiger, but only 35 VPs. I don't see any hope here. Though he almost kills one of the riflemen in the middle from the Stug E.
Yeah, I think we could call it here at GG. It's up to you if we want to carry on to the end of this one, but I think it's quite safe to say at this moment that our main MG spammer, I don't want to say that though, although Von Ivan isn't in the... Normally it would be Von Ivan, today it's Zarok.
I casted Von Ivan lately, and he didn't spam Maxims. He built 2 of them, I think.
No, I've actually watched him recently as well, and I haven't seen him doing that kind of thing, so I'm hopeful. I am hopeful. But good game, Zarok. Well played. A great early game, actually, from Oster, showing us something new, but of course couldn't quite close it against Frost, who, with an excellent comeback, manages to secure his movement into round 3. So, are you alright to kick this one, GG?
Maybe just fast forward it, just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Ever the optimist, General's gentleman. He may win. He may win.
Well, I think it's respectful to see it end. Pigrins go down. Yeah. Alright, 10 VPs. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm happy. we can move on.
Okay, oh there we go. Zarok did just surrender at that point anyway.
That was a good game though. That was a nice one.
That was a really good game. Nice new strategies. Nice things happening there.
I think
interesting
the mech
flaggers.
was a really smart choice, and the mid game was really great. The early game was great. It really was just that Tiger. He lost that Tiger, and that's unfortunate. And that's really how the late game heavy tank battle goes. It's kind of who can bait their opponent into the AT guns the hardest. And in that case, it was of course Frost by by a big margin. I suppose that was the one downside to that build is there wasn't really any supporting AT. There was a pack and there was I think a stolen bazooka, but perhaps if that game dragged out, we would have seen one or even two of those Pigarins get Shreks on them and then look for some more anti-infantry, maybe mix in a sniper, something like that. But I love that playstyle. I like how the Grenadier is the core unit to Grenadiers, and Zarok's like, yeah, nah, I don't need those.
Forget
I don't
them.
need that
They
squad.
don't need anything.
Grenadiers for chumps. And I think that strategy was also very map dependent. I think because of that middle house, there are some maps like you can probably do that on Kolodny as well, just because those are those middle houses that are very good for securing map control. And as a result, you can play around that. But if you were to try and do a 3 Pyo MG spam on some other maps, you would have a hard time, I think.